1900, Paul Harris inspired to form organization where men of different professions could gather in fellowship. He spent some 5 years considering the possibility. 1905, first meeting. Thursday, February 23rd, in Chicago, Illinois. Young Harris, fresh from 5 years as a reporter, actor, cowboy, seaman, granite salesman, fruit picker, and hotel clerk, 5 years building a successful law practice, put his idea to work. He observed that success and respect could come from organizing professional acquaintances. On this night, he and Sylvester Sheila walked over to Gus Loware's office in room 711 for the first meeting, where Hiram Shorey joined them. Several weeks later, Sheila was elected first president. The name Rotary was suggested. 1906, members agree to be on a first-name basis. Singing introduced by Harry Ruggles, in part to lighten up the serious atmosphere. Wagon wheel emblem adopted, the first of many variations of the wheel emblems to be used by different clubs until 1912, when a geared wheel was adopted. The official emblem was authorized in 1924, a wheel of 6 spokes, 24 cogs, and a keyway. 1907, first community service project, a public comfort station in Chicago near City Hall for men and women. Harris writes that he was pressured by both the saloon keepers and ladies' garment stores not to install such a convenience. 1908, Homer Wood formed Second Club in San Francisco. Paul Harris asked Chicago Rotarian Manuel Munoz, who went to San Francisco for work, to spread the word about Rotary. Timing was perfect. San Francisco businessmen needed a boost, as it had been just 2 years since earthquake of 1906, which nearly destroyed the city. 1909. Homer Wood then organized clubs in Oakland, California, Seattle, Washington, Los Angeles, California, another in Seattle, Washington, and Tacoma, Washington. Paul Harris's dream of taking Rotary to many cities realized. 1910. San Francisco Rotarian William Stewart Morrow becomes an unlikely figure in Rotary global history when his San Francisco business dissolves and he returns home to Dublin, Ireland, and brings Rotary with him. He organizes several clubs in Ireland and the UK. He has the full endorsement of Paul Harris and Chesley Perry until he runs afoul of London Rotarians. 1910, first Rotary Convention in Chicago, August 15th to 17th, with 16 clubs in Rotary. The National Association of Rotary Clubs was formed. Paul Harris elected president. Chesley Perry served as General Secretary of Rotary for 32 years. Rotary principles adopted. 5 objectives. Rotary becomes international on November 3rd, 1910, with organization of Rotary Club of Winnipeg, Canada. It was chartered on April 13th, 1912, number 35, prior to convention in Duluth, Minnesota. Rotary became International Association of Rotary Clubs. Rotary Convention Portland, 15 new clubs. Many others organized and doing business like those in UK. 1910. Paul Harris becomes a founding member of the Prairie Club of Chicago. On an early hike, a beautiful young woman from Edinburgh, Scotland, points out a tear in his jacket and offers to fix it. Jean Thompson and Paul Harris were married several months later. 1911, National Rotarian Magazine was born with General Secretary Chesley Perry as the editor. August 22nd, Frank Collins introduced Service Above Self. Fred Sheldon, business teacher, creator of classification system, introduced He Profits Most Who Serves Best at same. 1914, Club number 100 is formed. On that day, 6 clubs applied. No record of how number 100 was determined from the 6. Rotary Ann became name fondly given to Anne Brunier, who traveled from San Francisco to the convention in Houston. Another Rotarian's wife named Anne traveled from Philadelphia. The name Rotary Ann was given to the women who supported Rotary principles and lasted until the late 1980s. 1915. The term governor is established for districts. Columbus, Georgia, USA is charter number 200. 1916. El Club Rotario de la Habana, capital of Cuba, became first club in a non-English speaking country on June 1st, 1916. 1917, Arch Clump, Rotary's 6th president, proposed to Rotary International Convention in Atlanta, Georgia, the creation of an endowment fund for Rotary, for the purpose of doing good in the world in charitable, educational, and other avenues of community service. A few months later, the endowment received its first contribution of $26.50 from the Rotary Club of Kansas City, Club number 300, Huntington, Indiana. 1922. International Association of Rotary Clubs becomes Rotary International. 1924, Inner Wheel was founded. It is the largest voluntary organization for women in the world today, formed to complement and support Rotary clubs and offer the hand of friendship worldwide. 1929. The new Rotary logo, designed by Oscar Bjorga of the Rotary Club of Duluth, was adopted by Rotary International. 1932. Four-way test was formulated by Chicago Rotarian Herbert J. Taylor, who in the summer of 1932 had a serious business problem. How he solved it is a legend in Rotary. I leaned over my desk, rested my head in my hands, and prayed. After a few moments, I looked up and reached for a white paper card. Then I wrote down the 24 words that had come to me. 1932. Paul Harris traveled to Europe and planted friendship trees in many European countries. The first tree planted by Harris on foreign soil was in Berlin. 1942. 7 Rotarians conferred honorary membership on General Douglas MacArthur in Dark Tunnel amongst wounded soldiers prior to the fall of Corregidor. 1945, 49 Rotarians helped draft the United Nations Charter in San Francisco. Many of the delegates from around the world were also Rotarians. 1947. Paul Harris dies on January 27th. Paul's widow suffers a nervous breakdown. Alone and childless, she sells her home and lives in a Chicago hotel, immersing herself in charity and philanthropy. 1950 Rotary Club in India proposed an enactment to delete the word male from the standard Rotary Club constitution to the Council on Legislation meeting at the 1950 Rotary Convention. 1962 First Interact Club formed at the Melbourne High School in Florida. Interact comes from the ideas international and action. Interact was Rotary's approach to a program that enabled youth to serve their communities and internationally. 1964 Council on Legislation agenda contains an enactment proposed by the Rotary Club in Ceylon, Sri Lanka, to permit the admission of women into Rotary clubs. Delegates vote that it be withdrawn. 1968 Rotarian Colonel Frank Borman carries a Rotary banner with him on Apollo 8 lunar mission. This banner was later presented to Rotary International President Togasaki in Honolulu, Hawaii by Colonel Borman. 1969, Buzz Aldrin, an honorary Rotarian of the Rotary Club of Spring Lake Brielle, New Jersey, where his father was a member and a member of the Rotary Club of Space Center, Houston, planted a 4-way test pin on the moon when he landed Apollo 11. 1972. Women are reaching higher positions in their professions, with more clubs begin lobbying for female members. A U.S. Rotary Club proposes admitting women into Rotary at the 1972 Council on Legislation. 1977. 3 separate proposals to admit women into membership submitted to Council on Legislation for consideration at the 1977 Rotary Convention. A Brazilian club makes a different proposal to admit women as honorary members. The Rotary Club of Duarte, California admits women in violation of Rotary International Constitution and Standard Rotary Club Constitution. Rotary International terminated the club's membership in 1978. 1978 Tokyo Convention is Rotary International's largest ever, with 39,834 registrants. 1983 California Superior Court rules in favor of Rotary International, upholding gender-based qualification for membership in California Rotary clubs. 1985 Rotary announces the Polio Plus program to immunize all children of the world against polio. 1986 California Court of Appeals reverses the lower court's decision preventing the enforcement of the provision in California. California Supreme Court refuses to hear the case, and it is appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court. 1987. May 4th U.S. Supreme Court rules that Rotary clubs may not exclude women from membership on the basis of gender. Rotary issues a policy statement that any Rotary club in the United States can admit qualified women into membership. Rotary Club of Marin Sunrise, California is chartered on May 28th. It becomes the first club after the Supreme Court ruling to have women as charter members. Sylvia Whitlock, Rotary Club of Duarte, becomes first female club president. 1990 Preserve Planet Earth program inspires over 2,000 Rotary-sponsored environmental projects. It marked a rebirth of the Friendship Trees Goodwill trips. 1999 Rotary Centers for International Studies in Peace and Conflict Resolution established. A collaboration between Duke University and the University of North Carolina Peace Centers offer tailor-made curricula to train individuals in peace building and conflict resolution. 2008 to 2009 Rotary officially launches its effort to match a US $100 million challenge grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to help eradicate polio. In 2009, Rotary receives another grant of $255 million from the Gates Foundation and launches Rotary's US $200 million challenge to match a portion of the grants and further support efforts to end polio now. 2013, Ann Matthews begins her term as the first woman to serve as Rotary International Vice President. 2019 Council on Legislation passed resolution that membership in Rotary International includes Rotaract clubs. Rotaractors are full-fledged Rotarians. Rotaract originally began as a Rotary International youth program in 1968 at Charlotte North Rotary Club in Charlotte, North Carolina. Today, Rotaract has grown into a strong international network of over 10,000 clubs in 180 countries. Many Rotaract activities take place at the club levels. However, young people get involved in many international service projects and programs as well. 2022, Jennifer Jones installed as first female Rotary International president.